I'm so excited to be here as part of Shine Festival. I'm Siobhan Murray from Twisting the Jar, and I wanted to talk to you about resilience. But before I talk to you about resilience and my take on it, I wanted to ask you just to do one thing for me. If you're watching this on a laptop or an iPad and you've got your phone beside you and you're snapping away, or you're on Instagram or whatever other form of social media, just put it on Do Not Disturb and put it aside. Or if you're watching this on your phone, turn off your notifications and give yourself this 5-10 minutes just to go, I'm going to be fully present and watch what this lady has to say. So now that you've done that, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm not going to do this death by PowerPoint and make it all very heavy. I'm going to give you just a little story that I hope you connect with. See, when I was a very young girl, I was only 5. My mum was 32. She was a single mum. We lived with my grandmother. She had been newly separated, my mother, and she went to work one day. She got a really bad headache. And, before I go any further, this is a good story. She collapsed. She had a brain hemorrhage. She was very, very ill. She got taken into hospital and she stayed there for many, many months. And one of the side effects of having the brain hemorrhage was she was left temporarily paralyzed down her left side. So after months and months and months of rehabilitation and working really hard to get the power back and the strength back in her left side, she did. And she went on to be an incredible woman. But she was always left with that slightly weaker left side. So now let's roll on to when I was 16, 17, maybe your age. And her and I were living together in a really grotty flat in Rathmines in Dublin. And she was making spaghetti bolognese. And I will never forget this. I was a really grumpy teenager. I had all my own stuff going on. And she was working away, cooking dinner for her and I, providing for her daughter. And she couldn't twist the jar of sauce open. Because remember, she was that little bit weaker on her left side, so she didn't have the power to do that twist. And you know how lovely it is when you twist the jar open and it gives you that pop sound. Well, she asked me to twist the jar open. And I grumped and raised my eyes to heaven and went, all right, whatever. And here's the thing. There's lots of ways to twist the jar open. You can stab it on the top and it will release the pressure with a knife. You can run it under water. You can bang it on the side of a counter. You can use a rubber glove to try and give you that traction. There's lots of things that we do when we're on our own to twist the jar open, or when we don't want to ask for help. But my mum simply asked me for help to twist the jar open. So I closed my eyes and I visualized myself twisting the jar open. And there was that gorgeous pop sound. So I gave her the jar back and she went back to doing what she was doing, which was cooking dinner for her and I. She was doing what she was doing best at that moment in time. See, this is the thing, is that even though her injury had left her weaker on her left side, she didn't see that as, well, I'm not able to twist the jar open, therefore I can't do dinner, I can't provide for my daughter, I'm no good. That internal dialogue that we all have, that negative self-talk, and we don't need anyone else to give us negative self-talk. We're good enough at doing that ourselves. So what she did is she asked for help. She asked for help with one component so that she could go back and do what she does best. And that's the thing. That's what we're not so good at doing, at asking for help. We see if we're not able to do something ourselves from beginning to end, maybe it's a sign of failure or not being good enough, or that we're going to be judged by others. But that's why my company is called Twisting the Jar, because it's about knowing how to ask for help. Because here, and this is the big bit, when I get asked, oh, how do I become more resilient? What's that secret? What's that magic little nugget that I can do that's going to make me more resilient so I can do this all on my own? See, the thing is that resilience is not built on our own. The secret is that resilience is built by our support systems, by the people that we reach out to, that we seek advice from, that we use as a sounding board to talk to. Those supports can be teachers, they can be career guidance, they can be friends, they can be siblings, they can be a parent, a grandparent, the lady down the road, an uncle. It can be anybody in your world, somebody maybe you don't even think about, because that's how we build our resilience. That's how we become stronger. Because resilience, if you look at it by definition, is bouncing back from adverse situations. And by gosh, you guys have been through some adverse situations in the last 12 months. But we don't want to be bouncing. That's a bit bizarre, bouncing back from things. So let's look at resilience is the ability to adapt to change. And if we want to adapt to change, the best way is to ask for help. It's to ask for those supports in the areas that you're not feeling that confident in, so that you can become more confident, so that you can have that internal self-worth. Because your self-worth is on the inside, but your confidence is on the outside. So if you take nothing away from this today, I want you to really harness in on what do you need help in twisting your jar. What are those things that you go, I'm struggling with this, but I've been trying really, really hard to do it on my own. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to be seen as a failure. I don't want judgment from others. Leave all that aside and go, but I only just need help in one component. And then reach out to those support systems you have. And watch how you become more resilient with that ability to adapt to change. Thank you so much for giving me your time. By all means, pick up those phones now and chat away. But remember, when you need that help, just think, what did that lady say? What was she talking about? Twisting the jar. What's your jar?